there's a hunger here. It feels like whenever you come in, like, man, this place is primed for God to do something significant. Even last night, I went away so encouraged by the hunger. Like, genuinely people saying, God, we want to pursue you with all that we have. We want to see our nation impacted by the gospel.
Something that's on the precipice of happening in Mystery Creek tomorrow. It's called The Send. I'm trying to, because this is the first time this gig has happened in Aotearoa, I can't put into words exactly what this is going to do to people, but it's going to be impactful, it's going to be life-changing. So I'm going to shut up and stop talking about it, because we've got some awesome people in the studio who can tell us more about it. One of the organisers from The Send, Ben Finley. Good morning, Ben.
Morning.
And Banning Liebscher, who's one of the speakers who are speaking tomorrow, coming all the way from the United States of America in our studio this morning. Good morning, Banning.
Good morning. Great to be with you guys.
Thank you so much, both of you, for your time this morning. It's all on tomorrow, Ben.
Yeah, it is, man. It's been 3.5 years of work, and it all culminates tomorrow.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
So you and I have been in contact a little bit, and you've been very, very calm before the storm, and you're still calm as you walk in here.
He's got a
this morning.
smile on his face.
I'm
Everything's
faking
fine.
it. I'm faking. I've had like 6 grey hairs now. My stomach's bigger.
You're
I'm
holding
not
it together,
calm.
dude. So when we've been trying to talk about this, we nail the details about it's going to be life-changing, impactful. I'm trying to come up with the superlatives to describe what's going to happen when people ascend into Mystery Creek tomorrow, because you've got beautiful, talented speakers like Banning. You've got musicians as well, and food trucks.
Yes.
So
tons of
paint a
food
picture.
trucks.
Paint a picture of what The Send is.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, The Send is really in response to the need around us and the belief that every single believer has the answer and is the solution. It's Christ in us. And so we just want to see believers activated and mobilized into their missional call, reaching children, high schools, universities, local neighborhoods, or the nations. And we just believe now is the time for that to happen in New Zealand.
Wow, you didn't read that off anything.
No,
It's right
I've
there.
said it
He has
I've
no
said that
notes
a
in front of
million
him at all. It's like, maybe I should have brought notes.
You've really got people like registered. You've got a good
Yeah,
good amount of people
over,
already.
over 6,000 coming tomorrow, which is going to be absolutely
out.
incredible. And like I said, it's been 3.5 years of work, and it's just really resonating with the body of Christ. So it's going to be a 10-hour gathering from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yep.
No breaks, but tons of food trucks, and people will kind of filter in and out as they want. And there's going to be a bunch of amazing worship bands and incredible speakers, testimonies. And the goal is really that people would fall more in love with Jesus, would get personal breakthrough from whatever's holding them back. It might be fear, might be unbelief, or whatever it is, and then really be mobilized into a clear calling and a clear next step. And we're just believing this day will have a ripple effect for the next 40 years across our nation.
How cool. I also see on your Instagram that there's been quite a few events happening already. Can you tell us a little bit about the pre-gathering and something that's happening tonight?
There's a pre-gathering.
Oh, there's been tons of pre-gatherings. Yeah, we've been doing this thing called Send Week. So we've been training hundreds of believers and sending them out across the streets of Auckland the last couple of days. And they've been sharing the gospel, praying for the sick. It's been amazing. And then we've been doing these night gatherings. So Banning spoke at last night's one and ripped into the kiwi bird for about 20 minutes. And somehow we all loved him at the end of it.
It was my whole opening monologue.
It really was. That was how he won the crowd.
They were either going to hate me afterwards or think I'm adorable. One or the other.
We're segueing into one of the speakers who's going to be at the Send tomorrow, Banning Liebscher. Good morning again, Banning. What did you rip into our bird for?
Well, listen, guys. I've been to, I think this is my 5th time New Zealand.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the country, love the people, wonderful. Yesterday, for the first time, I'm not sure why I didn't know this, found out that the national bird or national animal or the mascot of New Zealand is a kiwi bird.
First time you found this out?
Yeah, and it was a little disappointing, a little eye-opening. The American in me wanted to go, the bald eagle would destroy this bird. Like, what? This bird doesn't fly. It doesn't come out during the day. It's like nobody's ever even seen one in the wild. Yeah. So I happened to mention that for a few minutes last night.
Yeah.
And
It was like half the sermon. But,
You know
and
what?
then he went back to it.
Half the sermon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm with you, bro. It doesn't even have wings.
No,
Yeah. We all agree secretly.
I literally wanted to go like, who's the person that sat around and said, you know what would be a good national animal for this island? this random bird over here.
Hey, you want people to come and see you speak tomorrow, right?
Be careful.
Do you know what's funny? You know what I found out about Kiwis or New Zealanders more than anything else is they actually are very sarcastic people.
Extremely.
They actually,
they are.
they don't mind sarcasm. So
You've been here. You've been in and out of the country 5 times. The best part about the country that you really like in terms of the job that you do as well?
Well, as far as a pastor and speaker, there is a ton of hunger here. It's an interesting. New Zealand's an interesting place. Coming from America, which has 390 million people spread out across whatever. When you come into a place like New Zealand, which is this island with 5 million people, there really is this kind of connectivity on it. People are for each other. There's a hunger here. It feels like whenever you come in, like, man, this place is primed for God to do something significant, just even practically speaking, with people connected and the amount of people. So even last night, I went away so encouraged by the hunger. Like genuinely people saying, God, we want to pursue you with all that we have. We want to see our nation impacted by the gospel. And so I think that that's what impacts me the most. Outside of just New Zealand's beautiful. I mean, it's just, it's beautiful.
Perfect.
That was good.
That was very, very good.
No notes either.
We like you now.
Okay, I'm
They're
back
made
after
up
the
for the-
Kiwi. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
What's your topic you're speaking on tomorrow?
Revival. That means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, depending on kind of maybe what background you came from. But ultimately, that God would awaken a cry inside of us that just says, God, we need you. I think that even coming out of COVID, one of the things that happened in churches and believers was I think we finally have gone to that place where we say, God, our own strength is not going to accomplish this. Like more programs aren't going to accomplish this. We need you to pour out your Spirit. We need you to come, and I that's what I'm going to be
Beautiful.
talking on.
There's still tickets. Only a few though, if you want to grab them. That's a lot of people at the moment. How many are you anticipate? Have you got capacity for more people?
Yeah, we got a capacity of 8,000. That's the legal limit of the building, so we can't go above that.
All right, but how can people get tickets?
Yeah, so they can go to thesend.org.nz and tickets are $10 or $30. It's just kind of pay what you can afford.
Oh, nice.
And then there's group sales too, so you get a 20% discount of groups of 10 or more.
Very good.
Yeah.
Banning, back over to you. You're speaking about revival, and you get to. I can imagine you've spoken at a few events of this type, of this nature, both here and back in the States where you're from. What's been the most challenging aspect for you when you speak about faith and action in today's environment?
This can be a big one. We live in a pretty consumer-driven culture. Anywhere really in the West where people kind of show up and think somebody else is going to do this. Yeah. And so really trying to, it's what I actually love about the Send. It's why I want to be involved in the Send, is the call to really engage and activate individual believers to go out and do the stuff. To actually say, hey, somebody else isn't the answer at your work. Somebody else isn't the answer in your neighborhood. Somebody else isn't you're the answer. Like you're the one that God is going to send into those places. And I think having to break somewhat the mindset that we show up to church and we just expect somebody else to be doing what God's called us to do, or somebody else is going to be praying, somebody else is going to be reaching the friends, somebody else is going to be making a difference. So I think one of the hardest things to break through is it's even more in America. I would say in America, we're so consumer driven over there.
Yep.
But I would say anywhere in Western culture, you're having to kind of break through a little bit, say, no, you're actually the answer. You're the answer. God's not raising somebody else up to go do what he's called you to do. He's called you to do what he's called you to do. Go make a difference.
Has there been a thread of the reasons why there's so much reservation in people who've got a fire for the Spirit but just aren't actioning it?
Yeah, this is probably the battle all the time. Yeah. I think that we live in a very busy, distracted world. So people just have, they're looking at 100 things and are just kind of overwhelmed and feel too busy and don't have enough time. And so there's just the natural flow of culture, I think, that probably doesn't lend itself to that. And then I think that's I think this is when Jesus does the parable of like, when you light a lamp, don't put it under a basket. I think that literally the battle is you are a light. The issue is whether or not you're going to put a basket on it or not.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make a difference. So I think that there just is that battle where people just kind of just walk around with a basket on their light. It's a Sunday school story, but this is what it is, right? So I think that there's a battle around that the devil doesn't want you to shine your light. So he gets you somehow too busy. You don't think you can do it. You don't think you can make a difference. You think it's somebody else's responsibility. So hopefully we're going to break some of that stuff.
If there's somebody listening right now that resonates with that, they're like, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me right now. What would you say to them?
Come to the send.
Yeah, come to the send. Honestly, I'd say go find some friends. Honestly, I think that we're supposed to do this with people. It's one of the reasons why I don't think that gatherings are the answer. I think they're important, and I think that they're critical and catalytic. But I think ultimately when you get around people, like you're like, oh, there's other people that have the same heart that are going the same direction. So I think we're supposed to do this with people. So if you're struggling with like, I'm not shining my light, I'm not praying, I'm not doing that, I'd go find some friends that are like, hey, let's go do this. Let's like the Lord's really stirring something in my heart. You want to, and I think when we do that together, I mean, that's practical advice, but I'd say go find a group of people that want to make a difference as well and go hang out with them and then go do the stuff.
So good.
I also encourage those to look for those people.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's our responsibility.
Yes.
I think all of us as Christians to look for those people and support them and
Agreed.
lend a hand. I always love asking this question with guests who come in about personal impact stories of people who have transformed as a result of picking up, I don't know, the mantle and walking forward with whatever it is. So you're speaking, Banning, about, you know, a lot of us are walking around and we don't know that the message is for us to take up the mantle.
Yeah.
So have you got any personal stories about people who have actually been really transformed and gone, you know, and what positions are they in the church these days today that are really impacting people around the world?
Yeah, I would actually probably even say, so I'm a pastor. I pastor a church in California. And the biggest stories that probably stir my heart the most are, this is going to sound, it's not to be condescending, but everyday believers who are working just everyday jobs, who all of a sudden realize, like, wow, I'm called to make a difference. I think that probably what stirs my heart the most around personal transformation stories is maybe even people that have been to church their whole life. Like, I grew up in church. I come here all the time. But all of a sudden, something gripped their heart where they got awakened. And so now what we're seeing is people at their work are meeting Jesus. They're getting plugged into church. They're starting. I mean, we've got people that are starting homeless ministries. Just regular people in the church. This isn't even their full-time job. They're just saying, we've got to do something about this. And so now they're going every Friday night. They're going down. They're feeding the homeless. They're gathering other people. And these are not professional ministers. They're just people that are saying, we want to do something about this. So stories like that for me, when I see a believer that's maybe been to church for a long time, all of a sudden saying, I need to do something. And now you're like, there's people that have started marriage ministries and are feeding the homeless and are starting prayer gatherings and are reaching their workplaces. I think that those are maybe the stories for me the most that probably stir me as a pastor, because that's the goal.
Beautiful. The
goal is every believer engaged, and so we love that.
Well, I was going to just mention, you know, just to wrap up here, what is the one thing that you want people to walk away from when they attend the Send? Because they're going to go there wanting to be impacted. They're hopeful for something. What's the stirring that you want them to walk away with after attending the Send?
Man, that's such a deep question. I would say two things. Greater love for Jesus, because that's the ultimate goal. We just want people to fall more in love with Jesus. And then, I mean, when you love something, you love someone, you share it, you talk about it. So I think for me, that would be the ultimate goal. And then the second would just be breaking through that tall poppy syndrome that is just so prevalent in our nation, you know, and just kind of owning this is who God's made me to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Ben. What about you, Banning? Somebody walking away from what you're going to be speaking about tomorrow. And I would encourage you. I mean, there's so many great speakers on this list, but after listening to you this morning, I think you're going to have a full tent, buddy.
Come on. What do I want people to? Same thing. I want people to be fully in love with Jesus, and then just recognize God's called me to change the world, in wherever I'm at, in whatever capacity I'm in, and that He's equipped me and empowered me to actually go change the world. And so, you know, my heart is that people would pray too. I'd love to see people that just give themselves as intercessors. Honestly, I'd love people tomorrow to go, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to stand on the wall in our nation as an intercessor in prayer for God to move in our day. So faith, I want people to walk away with faith. saying we're believing God for revival in our day, and we're going to give ourselves to that. If I'm a stay-at-home mom, if I started a business, if I deliver pizzas, whatever it is, we're believing God for our nation. That's what I would like to see happen.
Go well, brother. Go well, Captain America. It's been a pleasure having you in studio, Banning and Ben. Go well tomorrow,
awesome.
bro.
Yeah.
If you want to dig into to get more tickets, what's their website again?
Yeah, awesome. Quickly before that, though, so we have our final pre-gathering tonight with Francis Chan and Sukarata Music at Mystery Creek. It's completely free. You don't need to register. Just show up. Starts at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. And it's going to be an incredible pre-gathering before the Saturday on site as well. But once again, you can get tickets at thesend.org.nz. They're $10 each. And it's going to be wild.
Tabby's going to be there as well with me. Good luck tomorrow, dude. You're going to,
I'm excited.
It's crazy nuts out there this weekend. We've got a double pass to give away. How about you text through right now, 8168, the keyword is life, and answer a question which we'll figure out.
Why do you want to go?
Yeah.
What was it about this chat right now that makes you want to go tomorrow?
Yeah,
Give us a text.
what's the stirring in your heart right now to go? 8168, the keyword is life. This is our last double pass that's up for grabs, so we'll pick a person via the text line. Banning, go well, brother. Thank you so much for popping by. And Ben, go well tomorrow too, bro.
Come on.
This is life.